some enemies. So very quickly, I'm just going to make 3 enemies. Not spend any real time on them because I don't need to for you guys to actually execute what you need to execute to make this part work. So let's create political cube. Let's say this is my enemy 1. Light. Export. Light enemy. And then let's say those are my 3 classes, and we have our enemy prefab. I'm going to take that right here. And what we need to do is also get this kind of set up. So, yeah, we'll have to do some speed. That's okay. So, do we want to do the hard one or the easy one? Let's, yeah. All right. So, in here, we need to get our enemies, the geometry, and this is not my current one. Project. Unless it's the one on the desktop. Yeah, it's the one on the desktop. grab our enemy, take a look at it, and we also need to grab our other FPXs. We have our heavy, light, and mid. Where are they? Alright, so they're all there. Just move those back for right now. And they're really small. There we go. Let's change their jeez. Okay, cool. Light. Let's change that. 40. And mid. Probably keep that. And let's make the heavy just a little bit bigger. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to let's just show the geometry and make our collider bigger. All right. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to drop these into enemy. So they're essentially a part of it. And the mesh renderer, we're going to have to kind of do some stuff with that and tell it to become our objects, because right now they have mesh renderers and all the other good stuff. We don't need the animation, but let's go ahead and get rid of the animation. Remove component, because we don't have any. And then really bring it in. So we'll get part of this done and we'll finish it up next class. All right. So as soon as this opens up, what we're going to initially do is we're going to create an array for our objects. So region 8 thermals hashtag in region. And what we're going to do is this. So we're going to create a public. We'll do game object array. And we'll name it enemies. And what we'll do with enemies is we're going to turn off all this mesh renderers. How do I do that? So for int I is equal to 0 while I is less than, and we got to do this before we do all the other stuff. So while I is less than enemies dot length I plus plus. What we're going to do is turn off get their mesh, get their oops, it's an array, so I dot get components, and the component that we're going to get is renderer. Or do we actually want the mesh renderer? Let's get the mesh renderer. Mesh renderer dot, no, we can't do that. We gotta do a renderer. Renderer dot this here. There we go. And I should be able to get the mesh renderer now. Yep. Okay, cool. Now, what we have to do, now that this is enabled, what we need to do is this. We're going to do a test, and if I go here, should be public, come on. There we go. Enemies, we have 3. And we're going to put these in order: light, mid, and heavy, just so we can organize it within ourselves. And then when we hit this, it should turn off, and it does. That's what we want. Now what we're going to do is tell our rendering, we'll run out of time, to, well, we'll stop there. So tomorrow, after the progress check, then we'll finish up this part. But essentially, we're going to tell the mesh renderer of our enemy to be equal to our meshes that we have as a what's the word I'm looking for? As a game object array that's a child of it. And then what we're going to do is for each class turn them off and then turn on the one that we need, so that essentially what we'll end up doing is really, if this is light, instead of changing the color, we'll actually probably turn off the mesh. Well, we'll get to it, but that's what we're going to do. And then we'll finish this up tomorrow. Very last